So Cnidarian is a phylum among the Metazoan kingdom. The name Cnidarians itself comes from the Greek word nidos, which means stinging needle. And it's because members of this phylum all have the same characteristic specialized stinging cells called cnidocysts. So first, let's have a look at the phylogeny. Among the Cnidarian, we have two different classes. The Anthozoa with Hexacolaria, which encompass the stony corals and anemones. And second, the Octocolaria with the soft corals and gorgonians. Then among the Medusozoa, we found the Hydra, which are composed by the Hydrazoa, which are composed by the Hydra and the siphonophores that we will see more into details later. And then we have the Cubozoa, which are the box jelly, the Siphozoa, which are also known as the true jellyfish, and finally the Staurozoa, which are jellyfish that live attached to the substrate, just like polyps, in fact. So the first species that we will investigate is the Hydra. So Hydra are among the very few species of freshwater Cnidarians. We can see here their body is composed of a tube here with the mouth at the end, and the mouth is surrounded by a few tentacles, from 1 to up to 12 tentacles. And these tentacles have the famous stinging cells, cnidocysts, that they use for hunting, for example, daphnia or any other prey. And the main reason why Hydra are studied by scientists is because they have exceptional regenerative capacities. So, for example, this tiny animal can be cut into more than 20 pieces, and each piece will be able to recreate a new, full-functioning organism. So currently, researchers are now studying the physiological and biomolecular mechanism behind this capacity in order to find application for how biomedical problems. I will now let Benny talk about the corals.
Okay, so corals is one of the Cnidarian species, which are Cnidarian organisms, which are really very interesting to study, as well as a source of bio-inspiration. During the 2010 after the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, this Belgian architect named Vincent Colbot, he designed a project called the Coral Village Project. So he was inspired by the symbiotic relationship between zooxanthellae and the corals in collecting lights, and also the organic flow of the colony, how it goes on top of each other. I would say that just to be able to collect and get better light. So the building, if you can see it clearly there, so it has a 3D structure. So each of the units has a roof that contains the photovoltaic panels, so it becomes self-sustaining, as well as there are spaces in the building that allows the residents to grow their own vegetable and whatnot. So this is so the structure and the function of the corals has become the inspiration for the coral village. Another interesting discovery is the discovery of Pseudotherapsin. It was discovered from the Caribbean seaweed, Pseudotherapsia elizabethae. So this particular molecule in the Caribbean seaweed, it allows the coral to have this antibiotic, antiviral capacity to fight against bacteria in the seawater. So this inspired scientists to extract this molecule and create an antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory cosmetic product. So it's now widely used in the cosmetic market as facial cream or even sunblock sometimes. And
another interesting characteristic of corals is the process through which they produce their own mineral skeleton. So corals use ions found in seawater like calcium and carbonate to create their skeleton. And some engineer just had the idea to recreate the same process by catching CO2 from plants, from industries, and put it into seawater, in order to produce carbonates and bicarbonates ions. And then just through an electric field, they can, precipitate this ion and form a new type of cement. So it's another application inspired by corals and other biominorization organism.
Okay, so now this is the let's talk about something simple, fashion. That's in the fashion industry. So designers, specifically Galina Mihalova and Pataranatu Patun, something like that. She must be Thai, from Nanyang Technological University. They designed clothes that to make a statement to denounce coral bleaching. Because we're already familiar with coral bleaching, and it's been this has been a very big problem all around the world, especially in the tropics, in the tropical region. So this particular design is made of, this particular dress is made of polyester fibers from plastics collected from the ocean, and it's composed of LED lights that react to any movement, any kind of pollution and whatnot. So this is more of an inspiration, and tell people that coral bleaching is happening, and it's basically because of the different perturbation that's happening right now. So yeah.
So now let's move on the most emblematic Cnidarians, that are jellyfish. As you know, bioluminescence is the production and emission of light by living organisms. Some jellyfish can emit fluorescent light. They use it to attract their prey, or to attack, to repel predators. And today, because of the ability of jellyfish to produce this light, scientists can track how cancer cells spread into human bodies, and how, for example, HIV infection progress, and even which male ends up fertilizing a female fruit's fly egg. They use the GFP. GFP is a green fluorescent protein. So this protein acts as a marker. So when it is fused in vitro to the gene of a protein, you want to study it, so you can follow this progress. And of course, this protein represents a major advancement in biology, and is widely used in research.
Yes. So another nice inspiration from jellyfish is the Jelly Vase. So in 2017, Nendo, a famous Japanese design studio, just created this vase. And so the shape is inspired by the jellyfish body. The material used is similar to the texture of jellyfish, so it's very soft, it's transparent. And fun fact, when it's filled with water, the vase is composed of 98% of water, just like jellyfish in the wild. And now, bio-inspiration for biology.
Now we move on a more engineer part. So American researchers, they have developed a robot called the Robo Jelly that can be used as an underwater vehicle. So this robot mimics, in fact, the jellyfish Aurelia aurita, which is a very effective swimmer because of its optimal energy consumption, regardless of any water conditions. And it also have a lower metabolic rate, so it's very interesting. The robot jelly is also able to reproduce the movement of the bell, and with its subshade muscles, contracted to evacuate the water, and then when it evacuates, it propels the body of the organisms. But however, the researchers are still improving their robot jelly because it consumes really too much energy, and but it could be used for to inspire other bio-inspired robots. Now we can move on siphonophores. So one interesting thing about siphonophores, so they are part of the Cnidarians, and as we said before, they have the characteristic to have a cnidocyte. So cnidocytes, they are stinging cells that contain nematocysts. These nematocysts, they can be triggered to lash a poisonous harpoon, and that can penetrate the skin of the prey or the predators. It also hooks to prevent their prey to coming out from them. So the researchers, they mimic this in the biomedical field through drug delivery, through patches, and it enables slow and effective delivery of drugs. And they used the Portuguese man-o-war species because it's the best suitable cnidocyst for biomedical research purpose, and it has the characteristic of being the most toxic cnidarians, and they can be deadly to humans. The last bio-inspiration was created by us. So by looking at the picture of the siphonophore Marus orthocana here, we were inspired. We designed a siphono robot. This robot could be used as an underwater vehicle also, and as a measuring device. The propulsion part is inspired by the nectosome of the siphonophore. So this is this part of the siphonophore. And so the nectosome is this upper part that ensures the movement of the organism. This is quite similar to the jellyfish body, the jellyfish jetting body, but as a single nectosome can contain 100 of nectophore, the movement is far complex. These organisms can also perform a wide range of movements by using their nectophores, both synchronously and asynchronously. So in order to improve the efficiency and the directional control of the jet, each nectophore has a velum. So a velum is the folding of the umbrella. And it's a flexible structure that acts as a nozzle for the water jet produced by the nectophore. So we could be inspired by this velum and recreate it to control the flow of fluid during the jetting and the filling of our robot. So we want first to mimic the first part of the nectophore, which is the nectosome, which encompasses the flotation zooids also. So we could also recreate it with a gas balloon. But we were also inspired by the second part of the body, which is more diverse, with all the zooids. So they have all diverse zooids there, and they use it for reproduction, defense, and feeding. So this second part is called the siphosome, and we can imagine that we replace these polyps by a salinometer, a thermometer, or even a pH meter. So by mimicking the colonial and the modular organization and the propulsion mechanisms, we could create a robot that will follow the plankton course, and it will let himself be drifted by the current in the ocean, but maybe we could control it via the remote sensing. So this robot could give us all the information that planktons could give us for ocean monitoring.
Hello. All right, so for the conclusion, so we all know now that Cnidarians are the very first animals that existed on Earth. And because of this, they have developed evolutionary adaptation due to different climatic periods that happened many million years ago. And they're also present in all marine environment in different biomes. So that gave them that capacity to have a very unique function and very unique ability to survive. And also, we all know that they are also important as an ecosystem, as we talk about habitats, and for livelihood for fishermen, for example, and for coastal protection. It has been a source of inspiration to to scientists and artists as we saw it, okay, in the field of architecture, construction, as well as design. And also, it's still, its unique properties also still picks the minds of the scientific people. With regards to regenerative property, Eric is here who can talk about it, and the intriguing capacity of ability of the jellyfish to go through the water with its ability, its propulsion ability, as well as the bioluminescent ability of most of the Cnidarians. So that's all. Questions, please.